Howdy folks, TJ here. How about some upgrades to my Atari TT030? The first thing I need to tackle, more storage. If you've been watching my channel, you probably know that I recently, well, a number of months ago, connected a zip drive to my TT. And it was one, it's an old zip drive, but it was a brand new factory packed one that I purchased at Weird Stuff back in the early 2000s before they closed. Weird Stuff was a cool, nerdy shop over in the Silicon Valley that carried pallets and pallets of just stuff. And the one time I went there, I saw this SCSI-based zip drive, a Zip 100, and I had to have it. I bought it, never used it, finally connected to my TT. I'm glad I did. They're actually pretty speedy. I just copied a whole bunch of files over to it because I've got a 50 megabyte SCSI drive in my TT named Leonard. If you've been watching my channel, you know why I named it Leonard. If you haven't been watching my channel, go back in time, watch why I named it Leonard. Anyway, storage. I'm okay with SCSI drives in general, but these old drives do falter. And in fact, the reason that I kind of decided to do this is two reasons. Number one, the 50 megabyte drive on this, and it was B&C that I believe did it because I bought it from them. The C partition was 12 megabytes, and the D partition was about 36, 37-ish. So 50 megabytes used, and what I started finding is that 12 megabytes on my C, where I like to put my working daily stuff from Geneva to NeoDesk to Multitask to things that are kind of operating the computer, I started filling up. And I got to a point where I was copying something over and it gave me that note saying, you don't have enough space to put this over there anymore. Kind of sound like Cartman I said that. So I go, oh, okay, we need to do something here. Because even though 50 megabytes back in the day was a lot, I'm really using my TT030 the most out of any Atari I presently have in the house. Now that may change over time. Once I get I've got a Falcon right there, but my TT is more of my businessy, non-gaming, connect to the internet, bulletin board service, that kind of computer. And I just love the detached keyboard. I love the aesthetics of it. And even though I love the Falcon, it basically is a cool computer in a ST-style case. They didn't make too many differences. It looks a little different, but it's like a Volkswagen Bug. They all have that same general shape. But the Mega STE and the TT, no. Atari went really in a different path. And when I first saw it back in the 90s, I go, that's weird looking. But then all of a sudden I found these little curves here on the TT030 had a little monitor base that fit right in those little curves, and it really made it look like a workstation. And my kid side of me started moving into adult side of me going, I need a workstation. So I just fell in love with this design. So yeah, I love my TT030. So I go, okay, we need to update. That was one reason. I basically running out of space on my internal hard drive. The other one is, and I put it over there, but my Mega STE, I haven't been able to successfully install a SCSI drive in it. I've had complications, and I'm finding out maybe it could be a resistor pack thing. Did you ever know that, I'm going to sneeze, that these computers had resistor packs? I don't know what the hell that is, but I started learning you need to terminate, you don't need to terminate. Are there resistor packs? Anyway, long story short, I couldn't get an internal hard drive on there, so what I did with my Mega STE back in the day, I purchased, well, it came with it, a Ultra Satan, a little 2-bay number, and I had set it up years ago, and I had the computer booting from it, put everything aside, forgot what was going on, but then I went ahead, well, since I couldn't get an internal drive working on it, I know I can, it's just a matter of doing the right things, I went ahead and got the computer booting up from this. This little SD card here is split up in 4 partitions, each about 260 roughly in size. So because you can only, from what I understand, 256 megabyte partitions maxed for the OS that I have in there, the 2.06. But when you bounce up to the TT, you can go up to 512 megabyte. And then I think if you have 4.04 Tosh, you can go up to like 1 gigabyte partitions. Anyway, 512 is fine for me, but these have 256. So I had connected to that temporarily before this a Supra drive. That was a Supra 20, but I think somebody else put a different hard drive in there. But it was either 20, 30, 40, 50, something. It was small. But I had it booting, and it was working fine, and I had everything set up. And then I moved it down to the floor because I was doing something over here, other 8-bit the other day. Gently moved it down to the floor. The next day, gently put it back, and it would no longer boot. I get a red light permanently on the Super Drive. When you turn it on, normally the busy light comes on and then goes off. Well, it's permanently busy now. So I did something, or it just finally died. So I go, oh, okay, we're playing with time on SCSI here. SCSI drives may be working fine one day, and the next thing you know, that's it. So I said, okay, I don't want that to happen on the TT, so let's start thinking. Do I want to connect this Ultra Satan to it? But it's external. I don't want to do that. Do I want to buy an Ultra Satan internal one? And that got me running down a rabbit hole. There's tons of options out there. There's one called BlueSCSI, which has both internal and external devices. There's Ultra Satan, again, internal, external devices. I've got this beautiful bay here. This light actually works. I want to drive in here. So I started exploring internal ones for this. And I may eventually get one for my Mega SDE after I figure out the whole resistor pack thing. Because I think that may be why I was having a problem over there. Or the drive I was trying to put in it, which is an Apple, because if you go back in time, the SCSI, and you go onto eBay, almost every drive I see is an Apple-pulled SCSI drive, a Quantum or Pro LPS or whatever. And I already own 2 or 3 of them, and none of them would work on here. So something to do with termination. And anyway, long story short, I went ahead and connected this to that for now. And we're going to concentrate on the TT because this is the computer I'm doing most of my stuff on. So I explored Ultra Satan internal, and then they also have the BlueSCSI internal. There's some other ones, I think, but I kind of started honing in going, okay, Ultra Satan, that name's out there all over the place. That's probably one of the most popular ones. But then as I started exploring more, this BlueSCSI one kept popping up. And so I go, you know what? For the price, because it was definitely cheaper than Ultra Satan, and I see a lot of good reviews, this BlueSCSI works on old Apples, old Macs, old Ataris, old Nexts, old you name it, old Martha Gerther, your aunt. It works for everything. So I go, you know what? I'm going to go with this BlueSCSI. I have a good feeling about it. Crossing fingers. Let me show you what I purchased and what I've been up to, because we've got some upgrading to do, and I'm hoping everything works. So on eBay, for $50, it was basically $48 plus shipping, so it's 50 some odd bucks. I received this little box, and in this box, and you'll see another reason why I purchased it, because the Ultra Satan, by the time you buy it and I don't know if they even sold a bracket for it, because I want to mount it inside of this vestibule. This little cover comes off, and there's a hard drive tray underneath it that you can mount most any 3.5 SCSI hard drive to. I wanted to use that same bracketry. I didn't want to duct tape it in there, even though us men love the duct tape stuff. I'm sure women do too, but us men carry duct tape to the bathroom. We duct tape everything. I wanted something that had a proper 3.5 bracket unit that could possibly screw into this. So let me show you what I purchased from the eBays. And I should have taken it out of this package first, because it just barely fits in this Static Shock bag, because it came with a bracket that is a 3D printed bracket that basically is a hard drive sled. And, oh, I'm going to see. Okay, I'm about to get this out. So here's what, let me hold it in the right, well, there's no up, down, left, or right. This is what this side, I'm going to kind of lean out of the camera so maybe it focuses in on here. This is an internal BlueSCSI. From what I understand, this is kind of like a public domain design, but certain people are allowed, or anybody can make the boards and sell them. And there's a listing of people, and this one popped up, and it was on eBay. They had a lot of good reviews. So this is what it looks like. And what attracted me to it, it looked just like a BlueSCSI, except it doesn't say the word BlueSCSI on it. So maybe if you don't have the BlueSCSI authorization, you can make it, but then you have to do something different. I don't know of it, but this is one I purchased from eBay, and it came in a 3D printed. There's even a little slot here to stick your SD card. This is SD card built. So I can slap and I can set up the SD card in advance most of the way and slip it in here. You'll see there's a, this is the little power lead. I'll try to lean off so maybe it focuses in. So what I needed to do inside here is your big old 4-prong Molex big connector. From what I understand, they may call these little ones Berg. I don't know. But anyway, this is a little connector. So I had to buy, and I think for 10 bucks, a big Molex that's in here to this little rinky-dinky one to give it power. So I'll be plugging in a power cord into this. Some computers don't even need that. They can get power from the SCSI port. But on this case, I think for my Atari, I need to do that. This little device here, that's just the housing for the SD card. I don't know if any of that's coming in clear. But you can see it's in a nice little sled. The sled has got screw holes on the corner. Again, I don't know if this is going to be coming in too well, but and screw holes on the bottom. I'm hoping that I'll be able to take a screw and screw this in where it will mount in here properly and be where it belongs so it doesn't touch anything and zap anything. And this basically acts like a SCSI hard drive. Now you're saying, okay, now how exactly does it work? So what I'm understanding, this is not like your typical SCSI hard drive that you plug in, you then launch your hard drive utility software, and that hard drive utility software, I'll put it up here, basically then sees the SCSI drive and you partition and format it however you like it. This BlueSCSI is a little bit different. You basically create, and I'm going to call it a vestibule. You basically go over to a computer and you set up a area of that drive, or I'm calling it a vestibule. I know there's probably a hard drive image. I think that's technically what they call it. A hard drive image on your SD card. And I chose a 4 gigabyte size card. In my case, that was the smallest one I had here. And because what I'm going to do is I'm going to make 8 500, roughly, it's going to be more like 400 and something megabyte partitions. Now I have to confirm, but I think my TT030 with the current toss in here, I could do 512 megabyte partitions up to that. I'm going to do 400 and something. Basically, 3,750 divided by 8. That's what I had to do to basically fill up most of the SD card and have space for a little init file, INI file. And basically, so what happens is you make this hard drive image, you copy it over to the SD card. On the SD card, you move over a little text file. They called it blue.ini or bluescsi.ini. And it's just some basic lines of saying, drive, this is what you are. You're a SCSI drive, and you're this, that, and this, and that. It tells you what basically it is. And so the computer, depending on which one you have, every computer is different, it sees it as a drive that's now seeable by my Atari computer, and I can then boot up the computer and launch my hard drive utility program. And in this case, for me, I own an older version, 8.2 of the HD driver. I went ahead and upgraded. So today I went ahead and visited the website. I don't know the proper pronunciation of the name, so I'll just say the owner of HD driver, Dr. Wait. Anyway, I went ahead and upgraded to the 12.5. It was time. It wasn't cheap, but I feel that I'm into my Atari scene enough. You're helping support people that are making stuff for the Atari. So I went ahead and splurged and purchased 12.5. So when that arrives, I'll be formatting this in 8 partitions and then start copying things over to it and have plenty of space to grow for many years to come. So BlueSCSI version 2, that's the current one that's out. That's the one I ended up deciding to buy. Now, we'll see if I chose wisely or chose poorly. I'm sure there's opponents and proponents on both ways. Is an opponent the same as a proponent? Anyway, there's people that love the Ultra Satan. I have one. That's what this is. Just happens to be an external one, an early version of the Ultra Satan. So I have one, and I'll probably end up purchasing another Ultra Satan down the road. But today I wanted to try something. I think what happened is it came all this for 50 bucks. And I go, okay, even if I have a hiccup, it's probably worth it. I'll have some learning to do. I've already got the SD card set up. Now it's a matter of finding the time to turn my TT030 upside down, take the screw out, get everything out, plug it all in, hopefully I have the right cabling, and I do it right, and then I can, I don't know if I'll get the 12.5 in time. I may have to do this drive if I don't want to wait, because I went ahead and got the hard copy coming to me. I'll go ahead and use the partition software, partition it, and see if it works, and if it works, I'll then start building this TT like mad, because once I do that, the damn gates open. So I'll have great mass storage that's dirt quiet. I'll still have the fan back here whirring, but that's fine. I like a little sound. Then what's after that? I've got the Storm device that is going to bring this thing from, I've got what, 4 megabytes of ST RAM and only 2 megabytes of ST RAM. No, 4 megabytes of ST and 2 of TT. I've got them probably mixed up. I forget what I did for where. Maybe I have no TT RAM in here. Maybe that's what it is. I actually just have 4 megabytes of ST RAM, and that's it right now, because I purchased a Storm device, which is going to be more elaborate than taking one screw out. I've got to take this case open, and this card's got like 130 some odd megabytes of memory, and that's where that's going to allow me to, and it's, I believe, RAM that is both TT RAM, and it just basically slaps a whole bunch of memory in here so I can run Mint and install more operating systems. Just putting Multi-Toss and Geneva on my internal drive, that's where I filled it up. So I go, okay, we need to get my storage thing figured out first, because then I'm going to slap the Stormy in here later on. And then after that, who knows? I've got some other upgrades coming. How about a transputer board that also adds a video card in here? That'll have a video port on the back that I can run actual VGA resolutions, or I should say much better than 640 by 480 or whatever, regular VGA. It's going to do super VGA. What's it, 12 something by something something? Anyway, it's a transputer board that will, I've never owned a VME board before, but I've purchased, well, I put my name in the hat for one. They're not made yet, they're not shipped yet, but eventually later on this year I'll get one. So I'll have mass storage, I'll have lots of memory, I'll have better video, and I'm going to be enjoying my TT like mad nuts. Yeah, I'm not just a collector that buys stuff and sticks it on a shelf. I collect and use, and I'm going to use it until the sun don't shine. So thanks for watching the video. I will do some other videos about this, but I think step one is, here's the BlueSCSI. I now own one. I have the upgraded HD driver coming to me. We're going to put this in and get it working, and I'll try to explain what I've done. I've asked a lot of questions on the Atari forums, both Atari Forum and Atari Age. There's great forums there to visit and ask questions. I think I've got the SD card properly set up. Now it's a matter of plugging it in. Does the computer detect it? Am I able to use HD driver and partition this thing and get it working? If I do, wonderful. I'll explain what I've done, and we'll go from there. So thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.